All right, I know grown women who were in tears. In fact, a couple of our producers, in fact, one of our producers, who was a guy, I think, was in tears as well. And you guessed it, on the spot with us this evening on Live at 7, Tessanne Chin, in her first television interview since that incredible performance on The Voice. Welcome to Live at 7.
Thank you for having me.
You blew us away, and I'm not sure why. I'll reveal something to you right now. Somebody asked me, are you going to watch Tessanne on The Voice? And I said, no, not really, because I've seen and heard Tessanne 14,000 times. I'm glad I did tune in, however. How did all of that come about?
To be honest, it was Shaggy.
Oh, really?
Shaggy came to me with a suggestion, and he was like, you know, there's this opportunity here, and I really think that this would be an amazing stepping stone and platform for you to pursue. And I was like, oh, I don't know, am I even allowed to do that? Like, you know, and he really encouraged me. And Shaggy's one of those people that he's always encouraged me, you know.
He's really persuasive as well.
He is, but he really looks out. So I appreciate it. Big up, Shaggy.
Did you have any reservations about going that route as another step in your career?
You know what, I think at the time I didn't have anything to lose. I think that for me, I had reached every goal here that I wanted to reach, you know, and I want to step out. I want to be an international artist, so what better way? And it's not going to happen the way you think it's going to happen. So I was just like, you know what, I'm going to have an open heart and just see what happens with this.
When was the confirmation? How did you know? What kind of process? Not that I'm going to try it next week, but what was the process you went through?
Well, it's actually, to get to that point alone was quite a few different things that we had to go through. We did about 3 auditions to get to that point.
Are you aware, for instance, that everybody, what was it, Monday? Everybody sat through Monday looking out for Tessanne, and then the tweets started flowing and all sorts of threats were going on. Where is our Tessanne? Where is our Tessanne?
Well, I was threatening too.
And then when it came down, people were still watching, still nervous, and then they saw like a teaser come up just after one break, and you knew, because even in the teaser, it was suggested that the coaches, the judges, whatever they're called, were blown away by this performance. As you went book and you step out onto that stage, you don't see them before, right?
No.
So you're stepping out. You know that Adam Levine is there. You know that Aglia, CeeLo, and so on are there.
Yes.
When you go boop and step out onto that stage, was it different for you in any way than say coming out in front of a live audience or singing at a concert or jazz and blues or whatever?
Well, I have to say that I am most nervous singing at home, because I think at home the Jamaican crowd, because they know what they want, are the toughest crowd. And I think for me, I just had to keep telling myself it's just another show. It's just another show, because when you start to going to overthinking it, then I got really nervous. And I remember being on that stage and walking onto that stage and just thinking, it's another show, just sing, you know, and thinking you better catch the key.
What about, speaking of key, you went with Try by Pink.
Yes.
Why did you choose that song, and how long did it take you to say that's the one I want to do?
I chose that song. That was the song I did most of my auditions with. It was always there somewhere. And I chose that song because not only do I believe that Pink is she's a fantastic performer and vocalist, but it was I felt like that's what I was doing. I was getting up and trying again, because anybody in this business know you experience a lot of yes and you experience a lot of no as well. And so for me, this was getting up and saying, well, it didn't work this way, I'm going to get up and try this way. And I didn't want it to be sad, I wanted it to be an anthem. So I decided to try and sing my heart out as much as I can, but that's why I chose that song.
Did you consider one of your own? Did you consider at any time that, hey, let me go with one of mine?
Well, you know, for me, I wanted this to be a reinvention and, you know, a stepping stone into something a little bit different. I am Tessanne, I will always be Tessanne, but I feel like I've not hidden the fact that I want to try and do different music, and I think, you know, this is a perfect platform for me to do so. I will always have my reggae roots. I can't help but be anything but Jamaican because that's my blood. So definitely reggae is always going to be inflected into the music that I do, but I want to see how far I can get as just a vocalist, period.
How much did the studio audience, because as you went and opened your mouth, and I know it wasn't just Cuff and your dad, the whole volume just went up.
I couldn't believe that. That to me moved me as well, because like I was saying before, like, I'm used to my territory, which is Jamaica and, you know, certain parts of the Caribbean. So that really made me nervous, because this is completely new territory. This is a completely new music, a completely new way for me to sing. And excuse me, I just felt like, oh God, like, just please God, let them feel what I'm singing, you know, let them feel what I'm singing. And they did, and that they didn't get to show it because there's so much that happened that wasn't, you know, able to be shown. But I actually kind of got emotional after, because they were just so receptive, and it was it's a lot of pressure.
We saw in the clip your husband, Michael Cuff, and we saw your dad,
yes, Daddy,
going loopy. Could you hear them behind there, or are they way back out of?
That's the first time I've ever seen that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the first time I've ever seen it.
We've seen it over and over.
Oh, I just, you know, for me, especially with my dad, I, of course my husband too, but Daddy saw me say my first word, much as sing my first note, and to see my dad get emotional, because my dad is like a macho man. He don't get emotional for nothing, you know, like very specific things. To see him have that moment meant the world to me, because, you know, at every performance there's mommy or daddy. Right.
And they're not usually that demonstrative, it has to be said. Yeah.
No, they're not. And, you know, that made me cry watching.
Well, as I mentioned, I know quite a few people who were watching it through tears, and I suspect are going to be shedding a tear or two as we go through this interview on Live at 7. We have to take a break. We'll come back with Tessanne Chin in just a moment.